make sure you're communicating ahead of time. We do understand that there could be some school conflicts with practices. You know, it's just impossible to find a practice time, I think, that will work for everybody's schedule 100% of the time. And I would say, you know, from middle school up to varsity, the communication expectation stays the same at all levels. But as far as, you know, if a middle schooler were to miss practice, it's not as critical as a varsity player missing some practice. But again, you're going to work that out directly with your coach and what your coach for your team's expectations are. And you're going to just have those communications ahead of time. That's why about like the third week of tryouts, the April 22nd, that's when there'll be that parent player kind of coach meeting, where at that point we'll kind of have you somewhat grouped up to where you probably will fall in and what coach you would probably have. And then they will meet with you guys to let you know kind of what their expectations are. So again, you're kind of knowing kind of what those expectations are. But there's, you know, there are a lot of details in there just about how we really do, you know, we really do expect early communication and also, and we have a code of conduct, you know, which again, the kids have been fantastic. So I really don't anticipate problems, but we do have a code of conduct with that. And then with the student athletes, another thing that we do with the building the character and training them up in maturity is we really want the student athletes to advocate for themselves. If they do have a conflict or they have a concern about, you know, see, a lot of times regarding playing time, that can always be a very touchy thing. And a coach may say, I'm not discussing playing time with you, but you can do things like what am I doing well? What do I need to do better potentially? Or what would you, if a coach isn't really clear with you, like on your role on the team, you can ask them like, how can I best help the team? You're definitely can have conversations like that. And we want the player to do that with the coach. We don't want it to be the parent with the players over here on the side and the player coming home and complaining to the parent then contacting the coach. We really want the player to contact the coach first. And then if the parent needs to step in with the player, that is great and fine as well. And again, as we have teams know who the coaches are, I will help establish all of that. But again, it's for the good of the player, and we want what's best for the players and for the team as a whole. So we want the players to feel comfortable and confident in coming to us and having conversations with us. And then it has stuff about what the coaches will do for you guys, and then game day and what our expectations are on game day as far as what time we expect you to arrive. Again, there too with games and school, we understand that we're going to work with you a little bit more if it's a practice, but if it's a game, just the game in general, the game should be the priority. And you should work out with your teacher ahead of time if you're going to miss, because just like, in a public school or private school, they do that as well. And the athlete, goes to the teacher and talks to them. If you have some reason that you are not okay to miss school or so, that we really need to know ahead of time. Like in April, if you do already know that, hey, school is going to be a priority no matter what, then we need to know that. Otherwise, if there's certain situations where, hey, I cannot get there an hour ahead because I'm just sitting there in the gym for an hour when I need to be dissecting a fish in biology, we may be able to work with you on that. But again, it's just communication. Oh yes, and then parents, if you are the game day volunteer, just say this now, it's really important that you're there early and that you're not off in the hall talking to a friend if you're supposed to be line judging. Because the most difficult thing, because I've been a coach too, and I'm thinking about my lineups and thinking about what do we do for warm-ups and making sure I have my roster sheet. And then I've got the referee coming to me, okay, who's your line judge? I'm like, I don't know who it is. I'm not in, I've got too many other things to think about. And so that's where the game day coordinator comes in. They've got to be right there and have their people ready to go so that person can take charge of that. That's just a little side personal note that it really stresses out the coaches if they're having to worry about too many other things. Okay. Oh, and then the last couple of pages on there might be in 10-point font because there's so many little things. It's the parent player agreement contract that basically just says you've read the handbook, you've read everything, you understand the philosophy, you're going to do everything that I asked you to do, or that we asked you to do, and you will fulfill your commitment to the absolute best of your ability, and you will really make this a priority. And there's one for the parents, and then there's one for the players, and even little things like for the players, like cell phones, you know, to be off. You know, we want, if they're coming early and they're cheering, we want them in the gym cheering for the other team, not off in the hallway on their cell phone doing whatever. Now, that's all somewhat adjustable as far as like, hey, I understand if we're taking pictures or video, whatever, but there may, or like during practice, no cell phones during practice or whatever like that. We may have things like that. Again, I have not seen that be a problem at all during training plays, but, and again, whatever coach says for their team, it may be a little bit different team by team. All right, that is all of that. Okay, I don't know if I can it's asking me if I want to upgrade. Oh, hope I didn't lose you. Are you still there? Oh no.
We're still here.
Okay, can you see me?
Yeah.
Okay, I
think we have 8 minutes.
I was trying to see if I could upgrade, and now I don't want to upgrade, but I can't see you guys.
We see you.
Okay. All right, so then, yeah, so now I guess it says we have about 10 minutes left. So do you guys have questions? Anyone? I really wish I could see you. I'm trying to go back. Can you still hear me? Oh no.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hello?
Yeah, we can still hear you and see you.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Okay. This is Sabrina Waters. I'm Josiah.
Oh yeah, hi.
Hi. Can you tell a little bit about the boys team? I don't see much in the writing about the boys team.
Yes. The boys team is I love all the boys. They're doing a fantastic job. I want them to keep coming. We just don't, there's just no real, there's not a league for them at this point. When we go to nationals, we went to nationals 2 years ago, and there was 4 boys teams, and it was super fun and fantastic. And hang on. It just happens to be right here. Can you see this? Can you guys see me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so they got second place a couple of years ago at the national tournament. That's the only official tournament that we know of for them, and that's the one that's in Tennessee, September 30th to October 2nd. But again, that could it could even get canceled at the last minute if there's not enough boys teams that sign up. So we're just praying that enough boys teams will sign up. In the meantime, just as we're seeing how many teams and how many teams we end up having, we'll kind of try to figure out, well, and if we have enough boys that sign up, we will figure out, okay, when are they going to practice? And then we have uniforms for them and everything. It's just that their games might be a little bit less official. They may play against some of our girls teams. We also have an adult volleyball at the church. That's on Thursday night and Friday nights. It's not really an official league. It's just kind of college age and older get together to scrimmage and play. But we have asked them to kind of form a team of people. Usually it's been co-ed on their side, that then they will come and they would play us at some games, like game nights when we have like the girls scheduled, because we also, for our games, we try to run 2 games at a time in our gym. And so maybe the boys are going to be playing on one side while varsity or middle school or somebody is playing. But they're kind of going to be the last to kind of get set up and organized, because I don't have the deadlines for them like I do for the girls teams. And I don't have like an official league for them. But I would say, like with the tryouts, I mean, they should just totally come and do the tryouts, because I mean, $50 for for the eight sessions is actually less than what we're doing now. And the tryouts too, just so you guys know, it's not like, it's going to be a lot of what we're doing now in the training plays, a lot of just with, some drills and warm-ups, and then a lot of playing. Does it kind of answer your question that I don't know 100%?
Yes, I get where they just don't have as much structure yet. And I'm assuming like Josiah is rising 7th grader, 12 years old. He would be able to play with the boys, most likely.
The boys are
it just depends on who shows up.
It's a very wide age and ability range. And that doesn't mean every single boy will make the team though either. Like if there were, I don't anticipate there being an abundance, but like if somebody came in brand new that had never done anything and was really young, we wouldn't just necessarily take everybody.
Okay.
And also just for for all the teams, were the plan, I'm not promising anything, but the plan is no more than 10 players per team. That is the goal for everybody. Other questions? I really hate not being able to see you guys, but I'm afraid if I move too many, maybe I could try to rejoin my own meeting. No, I'm afraid if I move too many things around, I'll just lose you all. No other questions. Sammy, do you want to say anything?
Sure. I'm just really excited for the season, and I'm just thankful to get to know all of you all. So keep coming, keep working super hard, and do your very best. And that's what we're looking for. Good attitudes and hard work.
I have a question really quickly. I was wondering if you guys have an estimated cost for the year?
Yes. In the past, it has been, for the girls, it's been $400 a player. Now we are doing tryouts even earlier. In the past, we did them more like mid to the end of May. And this year we're having like full on practices in May. And so it could be, $50 to $100 or even $150 more, but probably not for like middle school. Like varsity, I might, in the past I've done $400 for everybody, no matter what. If varsity and potentially if we have more than one JV team, our top JV team are going to have a higher commitment, like more practices, potentially more time, theirs might be a little bit more. And then the boys won't be as much, they wouldn't be any more than 200. They'd be like about half the cost, 150 to 200 roughly. And I will say, just so you guys, and that's, we're not certain what we're doing with the uniforms. So we may have people buy their own uniforms this year, or partial uniforms. For example, maybe we're asking you, okay, you need to buy these particular shorts, but you can decide how many pairs you want to get, and here's the link to get them. Or we might get like a short sleeved jersey for everybody, and we already have these long sleeved ones that we're hoping that we can use. We just gonna have to decide if they're gonna belong to the program or belong to you guys. Same thing with maybe practice t-shirts, deciding will that fit into what our budget is, or do people just go online and buy those like from the team store? And then just keep in mind, like for travel expenses, the state tournament, everybody goes to Greensboro. You do not have to spend the night. The schedule works fine that you can drive up and back the same each day if you wanted to, but obviously Tennessee, that will require, I think, either 2 or 3, probably 3 nights to stay in the hotel.
Hey, Coach Tiff, it looks like you have less than a minute. I just wanted to let you know.
Thank you. Okay. Any other quick questions, or you can always email me. And you can come to another meeting when I have one in person, or just stop me in the gym and ask me any questions you have.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you guys for joining in. And I'm sorry I can't see you at the end, but I appreciate
Thank
you.
you.